The top 10 tips for effective communication. The overall credibility in communication is stated by Mehabrian's 7% rule. 55% of meaning comes from the presentation. 38% of meaning comes from the tonality. 7% of meaning comes from the words themselves. Catch the cues. Tip number 1. Understand the rules of the game. Tip number 2. Dress for context. Grooming. Non-traditional interview attire. Handshake. Non-traditional hair color. Body piercing. Obvious tattoos. Unusual hairstyle. Mustache. Beard. Earring.
When I said to wear regular weekend attire on a casual Friday, I didn't know you were a nudist.
Your choice is to live in the world of fantasy or in the real world. Live and work in the world of reality.
Oh, okay, you're hired.
Tip number 3. Know your audience.
I'm sorry, sir. You're properly dressed.
Catch the cues. Tip number 1. Understand the rules of the game. Tip number 2. Dress for context. Tip number 3. Know your audience. Body language. Tip number 4. Self-awareness. How are you physically portraying yourself? What are you doing with your hands? How are you standing, sitting? Tip number 5. Own your own space. Body language says more than the words you speak. Tip number 6. Demonstrate competence with confidence. Some familiar power gestures. Some not so powerful gestures. Body language. Tip number 4. Self-awareness. Tip number 5. Own your own space. Tip number 6. Demonstrate competence with confidence. Voice. Tip number 7. Project your voice with passion and volume.
Good morning, Vietnam! I have a dream that one day...
Tip number 8. Inspire confidence using vocal inflection, or risk putting your audience to sleep.
Well, I just think, for starters, that sometimes the government has things they can't tell us, and truthishly, we should just accept that.
All right, Brian, you can do this. You can dump her. Because once it's done, never again will you have to listen to her talk like this. You know, where everything has a question mark at the end of it, with an upward inflection at the end of every sentence. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, damn it, now I'm doing it.
Voice. Tip number 7. Project your voice with passion and volume. Tip number 8. Inspire confidence using downward inflections. The message. Tip number 9. Focus on how you say it. Some opening tags to avoid. Perhaps, maybe, well, you know, like, the title of the slide is... Tip number 10. Eliminate qualifiers, tags, and diminishing words. I'm sorry to bother you, but I don't do too well with PowerPoint. The message. Tip number 9. Focus on how you say it. Tip number 10. Eliminate qualifiers, tags, and diminishing words. And to recap the top 10. Catch the cues. 1. Understand the rules of the game. 2. Dress for context. 3. Know your audience. Body language. 4. Self-awareness. 5. Own your own space. 6. Demonstrate competence with confidence. Voice. 7. Project with passion and volume. Tip number 8. Inspire confidence using downward inflections. Message. 9. Focus on how you say it. 10. Eliminate qualifiers, tags, and diminishing words.